Hi, this is Deb DiBiase, and today we're speaking with Rich DeMerchant from Hydrocopia Greenhouse Auto Farm. And today he's going to share more about his revolutionary design for an environmentally controlled backyard greenhouse. Thank you, Rich, and welcome to the jam session.
Hi, Deb. Great to be here again.
So, this is such a cool idea to have this automated greenhouse in your backyard, and obviously it's going to take electricity to run. It's got to be expensive.
One of the design criteria of the original Hydrocopia project when we started the R&D for this is that it had to be cost effective. And so it is environmentally controlled. It does have cooling abilities, powered ventilation, things like that, but it is very, very cost effective. The greenhouse itself is designed as a solar greenhouse. In other words, it does collect solar, solar heat energy from the sun during the day, and so during the winter time, it is very, very cheap to heat. It collects the heat, it collects the sun's heat, and really holds on to that. When the cooling aspect of it, what we did is we took evaporative cooling system, and this is what they use on commercial greenhouse systems. It's a commercial technology that can drop the temperature of the greenhouse and keep it very cool and keep it in that optimal growing temperature even during the hottest peaks of summer, but it does it very cost effectively. It is a process that uses evaporation of water to cool the air and cool the inside. So it is a very cost-effective, and the system only comes on when needed. So it's a temperature control. When it reaches a certain temperature, it kicks on, it cools the greenhouse, and then turns off. Same with the powered ventilation. So during most of the year, you just have it on ventilation, so it's just using the air from the outside to cool the interior. During the hottest parts of the summer, you turn it to the evaporative cooling, and then it will actually drop the temperature down through an evaporative cooling process that really doesn't take any more energy to run than the ventilation system itself. Now, this is a very powerful ventilation system that moves over 3,000 cubic feet of air per minute. In other words, it'll do a complete air exchange in an auto farm very, very rapidly, and it allows you to really use the ventilation system, use the cooling system, or use the heating system only when absolutely necessary. And so it is very, very cost effective and cheap. The control system that controls all the grow system and the valves and everything else is battery operated. A few AA batteries runs it, and they usually last 8 months, a year for the AA batteries, and so it is very, very cheap and cost effective to run this. Also, on the other side, an organic auto farm is designed to use really any water-soluble nutrients, but it's mainly designed to use things like vermiculture, things like compost in the nutrient tea brewers. So running this system is very, very cost-effective because you can create all the nutrients and rooting mediums that you need on site, meaning that you do not have to go to the garden store to buy your nutrients and things like that. Although you can if you want. It works great in the system, but the system is designed to be truly self-sustainable in terms of the rooting medium and nutrients you're using in the system, meaning that it's very, very cost-effective to do because you don't have to spend that extra money on nutrients and things like that if you choose to go the self-sustainable route using things like vermicompost.
Excellent. And I think you also shared with me something about what they call indeterminate plants. So
Sure.
maybe you can speak to the folks about what that means and how that also can save you money.
Well, it's indeterminates are great. Indeterminate plants, for example, I'll use tomatoes. There's determinate tomatoes and indeterminate tomatoes. Determinate tomatoes are plants that will grow a big bumper crop of tomatoes and then be done for the year. Indeterminate are tomato plants that will grow tomatoes and continue to produce tomatoes throughout the year, and will continue to produce tomatoes and as long as you're picking up until the frost kills them. Now with an auto farm, there is no frost. And so you take the environment, the outside environment, out of the equation, and therefore these indeterminate plants can grow and continue to grow and continue to produce what we call a continual harvest. And so you're picking slowly. You're only picking what you need, and so that you always have fresh fruit on the vine. It makes it allows you to have plants that you can keep growing the same plants for sometimes years at a time. 13-foot long tomato plants that produce tomatoes continuously, and you can keep these going for a long, long time, having the same plant, a fully mature plant that continually produces, so that you don't have to start over with seedlings, every year, if you will, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. I mean, I didn't even know about indeterminate plants until we had the long discussion about it, and then I looked it up and I said, this is wonderful. So when you purchase them, is there an indication?
When you're looking at your plants, whether you get seedlings and starts at a garden store, or you buy seedlings in packages and start your own seedlings, which is what we do for the most part, it says determinate or indeterminate. And for our systems, and our goal really is to create that continual harvest. And so you want the slow harvest, the continual harvest, so that you always have that fresh produce. And there's a lot of plants that can provide that. Bell pepper plants are great. They do a great job of producing continuously. You want to make sure to get the peppers while they're green before they go red, and they will continue to produce as you pick them. We've had pepper plants go 3 years and are still going, some of them, that are continuously produce peppers as long as you're picking. Loose leaf lettuce, that's a great one. You can, as long as you can pick and pick, and it will keep growing and keep growing, and you can have that continual harvest with it. And there's a lot of plants that can do that. So
there's a lot of plants that might be able to do that, but not a lot of greenhouses.
No, this is true. This is true.
This is true. So when you go buy your plants, make sure that you see that little symbol on there that's going to say indeterminate, and then if you put it in a Hydrocopia Greenhouse Auto Farm, you can be pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have success. Well, there you have it, folks. Hearing from Rich about this sustainable, organic, automated growing system for your own backyard just amazes me every time he shares more information with me. So join the masses today who are also enjoying growing their own food, high-quality food, safely and securely right in their own backyards. Now, if you have any questions about the Hydrocopia Greenhouse Auto Farm, or you want to get started today, simply email me at info@hydrocopiagreenhouse.com or call me at 781-281-8166. Now, don't delay. Get your Hydrocopia Greenhouse today. Thank you, Rich, once again so much for joining us. Take care for now.
Thanks, Deb. Glad to be here, and I'll talk to you again soon.